welcome along then to the 21st round and the penultimate round of the second Tier 1 season of EXFL. Here at the Brazilian Grand Prix, my name's Royale and I'm alone in the commentary box today, so it will just be me taking you along and describing the action from Interlagos here in Brazil. 13 drivers lining up on the grid today for a dry to wet race is what we're hearing. And we had the Drivers' Championship secured last week in favour of the Mercedes driver Red Fire Tiger. And obviously the Constructors has also gone to Mercedes. Mercedes taking both championships in the second season of EXFL, taking after McLaren's epic achievement in the first season with F1 Union, who finished in first in the championship after winning it by 1 point on the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi. And McLaren, 404 points in the Constructors last season is what they got. Mercedes looking like a strong team as they will retain their driver lineup for next season. Anyway, Gifted Toast is on the lap. He's just going down. He's just come out of the Skidoo de Lago and is now round where Hamilton crashed in qualifying about 3 years ago. And he's had 5 wins in the EXFL this season. He has been a very tough driver to compete with out on that track because he is very fast, very quick in that Alfa Romeo car, and has brought good points to the team and for himself this season as he goes a little bit unstable on the exit of Junshao. As he now goes around turn 15, just round, Niels sets a 7.9 and Gifted Toast sets a 8.0 and GSRation on the soft sets a 7.8. So, next will be EXFL Russell in the Ferrari, because they're setting some blistering lap times in time trial. And he is going to go fastest on the medium tyre. That is a good lap from EXFL Russell. In that Ferrari, he's proved several times he has pace. I reckon he just needs to work on the fact that he keeps spinning. Let's just say that. He keeps spinning in races, which is why he's earned the famous nickname Spinala. And he's in a Ferrari, so it makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I think the next person to cross will be Boizo, and he goes P4 ahead of Niels on the mediums. Niels on the soft, so I'm guessing he made a mistake somewhere in that lap. As he's got 2 medium runners ahead of him. There's Dragonfire, and he's gone off. Just down at, well, down in sector 2, let's just say, until I can actually get my track map up. But yes, we're around the 4.3 kilometre circuit, and obviously the previous winner here last season, GSRation in that Mercedes, he was in, I'm pretty sure, the Hats last season when he won. Last season. F1 Union, watching him go around turn 14 and 15, just about to come around to the final corner. F1 Union is going to go P8 on the soft tyres, so slowest of the cars so far, but that definitely looks like a lap that he can improve on. As EXFL his teammate just comes round to start his lap in the other Red Bull, and there's yellow flags because F1 Union is going very slowly and on the racing line as well. Just moves out of the way in time for his teammate to go through down the Retta Aposta, and EXFL does actually get invalidated on the exit of the Skidoo de Lago. I'm guessing F1 Union didn't want to repeat a Ferrari in 2019 for the Red Bull guys. EXFL goes wide to let his teammate through. So Red Fire Tiger is also invalid, just coming out of there. So B-Meister's just gone purple in the first sector as he's going round the Scuderia del Lago now. He's currently P10. He actually got his first ever EXFL win last race. There was a timing glitch at the end. He actually did win, but the penalties glitch obviously didn't put him ahead. But he did, after the final race result was confirmed, penalties were checked over, he did get that win that he's been waiting for about, that was his 41st race in EXFL. He's been in the EXFL since the very start, as he goes P5 on the medium tyre, so he's doing very well on that track. He's been putting in some consistent race results and quali results, B-Meister, so hopefully he's actually he's fighting for high position in the championship as well, so he is a very good, very consistent, very pacey driver this season. So everyone out on track right now except GSRation, F1 Union, EXFL Centre, so both Red Bulls. Red Fire Tiger has just gone into P3 on the mediums. He's definitely flying, and that definitely shows why he is champion. EXFL Russell is up by 6/10. Look at that. So currently he is about to go into the 106s as he goes around turn 14, down the straight, and down towards the line. Goes EXFL Russell in the Ferrari, and he is into the 6s. He's 3/10 clear on pole, ahead of GSRation in that Mercedes car. So the Ferrari looking very, very fast around here today. But however, Niels is going quite fast as well. He's around the same amount of time up as EXFL Russell was. And is he going to put in a good final sector? Going around turn 15, down to the line. Here goes Niels, and Niels is going to go P3 in this race. As you can see, F1 GXL has joined. Taylor Alexis has joined in the Renault. So EXFL Checo in the other Williams, just passing B-Meister there, has to just touch the grass. Out of Jinshan, and he's going on the soft tyres round the final corner. Let's see where he'll go. He will only go P11, which is disappointing for the Williams, who he can definitely go faster than that. Swanee's pitting. GSRation is, he's 3/10 off of EXFL Russell, who's on pole at the minute, and he is about 900ths up through the first sector, out the Scuderia del Lago, and into the right-hander where you can play with the throttle. You can be quite adventurous there. He took it in 6th gear and just gets a little bit shaky on the exit. 2nd gear through this corner, and where Hamilton hit Albon in 2019, definitely risky to go for a dive bomb there in the race, and he's 2/10 up currently, which will just lift him behind EXFL Russell. But GSRation now, just gone through Jinshan, is now round turn 15 in that Mercedes car. He's definitely going to go into the 6s, and he is about 200ths away from EXFL Russell. The pack getting closer to that Ferrari, who's been flying in qualifying. So far, we have 7 minutes remaining in qualifying. GSRation definitely closing up on that Ferrari in that fight for pole position. Looking at Voizo, just going towards Jinshan as well, and he's 3/10 up. Don't know why I said that so weirdly. But yeah, this lap will put him ahead of Brown Beemeister actually. If he can keep the pace up. Here he goes. And he does go ahead of Beemeister. It's P6. As by the way, EXFL Senna has crashed down in turn 1 at the Senna S's. And in the Senna S's, EXFL Senna has crashed. So that is not what he would have wanted, definitely. And F1 GXL. Now, pulling off the track to let Boiso pass, but Boiso was not on a lap, so that wouldn't have mattered. So, yeah, driving with no hands. Anyway, Swanee's on a lap, and he is half a tenth up into... Hang on, sorry. Has F1 even backed off? Yeah, he has. Anyway, Swanee is around half a tenth up through sector 1. So hopefully he's going to want to improve, because he's currently slowest of the cars that have set laps so far. Just now going through Magulio and now into Junsao. And now around turn 14 and 15, the start finish straight. He's definitely, I don't think he's going to improve on this time. He does improve actually, he goes P10. So Swanee only P10. He'll definitely want to improve that time. Dragon and Fire's on a lap as well, he's just going through Desquita de Lago. And now into Ferradura, turn 6, 7 and 8. Just going through 8 now. And he is looking to have some strong pace on this lap. Now going through turn 11, turn 12, and into turn 13, aka Junsao. He's about 2.5 tenths up. And you can see F1 GXL is retired as well on the straight. He's crashed there. So that's his second DNF from this session. And Dragon and Fire lifts himself ahead of his teammate as he's stepping in for Max RG this weekend. Dragon and Fire reserving for AlphaTauri goes ahead of his teammate who is a full-time AlphaTauri driver. Ooh, Niels just goes a little bit unstable through the Senna S's. So that's not a promising start to his lap. He's still about 800ths up though. So that obviously didn't have much of an impact, because he had to turn away from the curb. Now through turn 6, turn 7, and now turn 8, the string of 3 corners, fast right-hander. Now into turn 9, the long hairpin, up to turn 10 and 11. And he's going to want to improve, because he's currently P5. And he will want to lift himself into the 6s near those Mercedes cars, and he is looking like he is going to set a very good lap here. Mercedes separated by 1,000. Is he going to lift himself ahead of them? He is not, but he does improve and is now about 300ths off of Gifted Toast in the Alfa Romeo. So yeah, those Mercedes cars. They're 1,000th away from each other, showing how close and like how similar in pace the guys are. So everyone's really in the pits right now, preparing for their final outings of the session. Alright, mic disconnected, because that's how things happen, but you can see Beameister going very, very slowly. I think that's quite... Would you say that's unnecessarily slowly to start his lap? I would say it's quite unnecessary to go that slow, but F1 Union taking the Center S's very well. Sorry. And he is now, he's 1,000th up on his time. So he's going to want to improve that. Now down to Sciglio del Lago into Ferradura, turn 6. And he'll probably improve somewhere around here. I don't know where he probably messed up on his lap, but that is not promising. Just losing the back end into turn 9. And turn 12 now he's going through sort of Mercedes right on the track. That's Red Fire Tiger going very slowly. He's going to have to hurry up if he wants to start his lap. I didn't catch how F1 Union was doing, but I hope he's doing well, because he really would want to do well in this qualifying session, and he is about to go P10 ahead of Beameister, who's currently on a lap. The other McLaren of RPL Zaccaria has gone very, very off. Beameister now is going to go into P5 ahead of Niels, who has finished his session. Gifted Toast now coming over the line, and he does improve, but not enough as GSRation backs off. That's his session over. Red Fire Tiger is down on his time, and there's RPL Zaccaria right in the middle of the track. Luckily, doesn't get in Red Fire Tiger's way. It's now around turn 9, the long hairpin. He's the only man that can take pole position away from EXFL Russell. Actually, EXFL Checo could maybe. He is, maybe, but he won't. He doesn't even stay to P12. Slowest of cars that set laps. But Red Fire Tiger doing very well. Round turn 14 and turn 15. Is it going to be provisional pole for Red Fire Tiger in this session? It definitely will be. Red Fire Tiger takes pole on the penultimate race of the EXFL season. Great lap from the Mercedes driver, and he takes pole position again in EXFL. The whole grid separated by 1 second, and that pole margin, 34 thousandths of a second. GSRation a tenth back from that front row, and then about half a tenth separated Gifted Toast and GSRation. But EXFL Russell just loses pole position by 34 thousandths of a second. Can he make it up in the race? I guess we will find out, as we're now loading out of qualifying. So here they go, just loading in now, probably selecting their tyres. And we're here. I've been told in the chat that it is actually going to be dry to wet in this race. So off they go. They leave the grid. Red Fire Tiger leading them away for the formation lap. EXFL Russell behind him. GSRation, Gifted Toast, Beameister, Niels. Swanee got P7 eventually, so a good qualifying for him. RPL Zaccaria P8. Dragon Fire and Void are the two AlphaTauris, P9 and P10. F1 Union P11, EXFL Checo P12, F1 GXL P13, and then EXFL Senna at the very back of the grid in P14 after his crash at the Senna S on his qualifying lap. So already about halfway through this formation, that was a very short lap around into Lagos. So it is about a minute and 10 seconds as a race lap. In qualifying, it's around a minute 8 seconds is an average. A minute and 7 seconds between a minute 7 and a minute 8 is about an average time. And if you're very quick, you can get into the low 6s. So, here he goes, round turn 14. Probably been put in AI now, judging by the movement of that steering wheel. GSRation's AI decides to just go right through the field. But lining up on the grid now for the Brazilian Grand Prix, the 21st round of the second EXFL season. And the cars lining up on that grid now. Here they go. They're revving up for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. Red Fire Tiger leads them away, and Gifted Toast already challenging GSRation into the first corner. But Red Fire Tiger leads, and there's Swanee being punted off the track into turn 1. He's already round and quite far away from the track. But Red Fire Tiger leads them down the Retroposta into turn 4. And he is being challenged by EXFL Russell, GSRation P3, Gifted Toast P4, Beammeister P5, Niels P6. They all seem to have kept position on lap 1. And there's yellow flags again, and GXL has gone off down the Skida de Lago. But we have Red Fire Tiger leading them away into turn 9. Turn 11 here, the hairpin sort of. He's 5 tenths ahead already. And there is a battle behind. It looks like F1 Union right on the back of Voizo. However, it's a 10.5 the gap. They're very close to each other. Into the second lap we go. The second lap is 36 of Interlagos. And I wonder if EXFL Senna is going to get past F1 Union. He is here. Down the inside at turn 15, which isn't really a turn. You can't really feel it when you're in that, when you're driving. But it is classed as a turn on the track map. Voizo, there is a big fight here. From Voizo all the way down to Dragon Fire and EXFL Checo. Rafael Zakaria just touches and they bang wheels, and EXFL Checo goes wide and they touch again down the Skida de Lago. But EXFL Checo is not going to give this one up, and he's going to go down the inside at turn 6 on RPL Zakaria. A great move from the Williams driver. And Zakaria already getting a 3-second penalty. Is Voizo now challenging? And they're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 10. And Voizo gets ahead, and also EXFL Senna ahead of RPL Zakaria. He's having a nightmare. And it looks like there's already rain starting to fall down the Interlagos circuit at the end of the second lap. RPL Zakaria really struggling. He just loses 3 places in the space of a few corners, and the rain is starting to fall very quickly in this race. EXFL Russell is right on the back of Red Fire Tiger, our champion. Really is going to look for a move in the next few laps, because DRS is enabled this lap. The drivers can use it in the 2 DRS zones when they were within 1 second of the car in front. And there's Gifted Toast right on the back of GSRation, and he thinks about making a move, but then thinks better of it just before diving. And there seems to be a big train in the midfield. And Swanee is already pulling back up to that field. You can see he got punted off at turn 1 quite heavily, it looked like. From my view, it did look like he got punted quite heavily, but he's already within a second of the next car. And EXFL Senna's made up 4 places on the first lap. We started P14 already into the points. For the end of the 3rd lap, and DRS isn't able to slap EXFL Checo won't have DRS, and he'll be a sitting duck to Boiso, who might think about going down the inside into turn 1, and he might think about it. He tries, but EXFL Checo goes a bit wide, and he's going to try and go round the outside of the centre S. And that is a lovely move from Boiso to move himself up into P9, but EXFL Checo will have none of that, and he's going to try and pull out down the Retroposta, and he's going to go down the inside into the Sciglio del Lago. No, he doesn't. He stays behind. As everyone you knew got past RPL Zaccaria whilst I was on about that as well. So he is really struggling. Really struggling today. But however, out in front, Red Fire Tiger still being pursued by EXFL Russell, GSR and Gifted Toast. They'll have DRS down the straight. Maybe one of them can think about making moves on each other. There'll be a bit of a DRS train from about 2nd to 5th. That top 5 is separated by around 2 seconds. And when we look, it is separated by 1.9 seconds. But EXFL Russell, his DRS management in these first 5 laps has not been very good at all, as he nearly spins it through the centre S. In EXFL Senna has been given a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as has RPL Zaccaria. What tyres are they going to be going in for? EXFL Senna already heading onto the Inters. RPL Zaccaria as well. I think Swanee heading onto the Inters as well. He is. He also gets his wing change from the damage he obviously picked up on lap 1. So 3 cars pitting for the Inter tyre. As GXL has spun it down at Junsao. Oh, and I think that's Red Fire Tiger. And he's gone off. And he's been given a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. And EXFL Russell is just going to breeze past him. DRS has been disabled as GSR also dives down the inside of Red Fire Tiger. Does he have damage? As he's being passed now, and he's spun again. So I don't know why, but Red Fire Tiger has just lost 4 positions in the space of a few corners. He's just struggling. And they're all just going to dive into the pit lane. At the end of this lap, EXFL Russell again gets a 5. Everyone's getting 5-second penalties for speeding in the pit lane. The top 2 just did. They're all going to go onto the Inter tyres. And that is going to play right into the hands of EXFL Senna, who might make up a few positions from this. He's going to push as everyone's going to come out of the pit lane. EXFL Checo leads this Brazilian Grand Prix. EXFL Senna is going to challenge Red Fire Tiger out of that pit lane, but it looks like Red Fire Tiger might win that one out. But EXFL Senna is ahead of Red Fire Tiger, but for how much longer? They're going to be wheel to wheel out the pit lane, but he is ahead of the Mercedes. And so he has made up a few positions from those pit stops. The early pit stop really worked for him. Not much for RPL Zaccaria or for Swanee. And then we have GXL a long way back. In 40 seconds from the next car. He's really struggling here. Boiso's just got a 3-second penalty. So let's have a look at the penalties. 5 seconds. Oh, the Fire Tiger already has 15 seconds of penalties. 5-5 for the top 2. Both of the top 2 are 5 seconds. So when they pit again, that's going to come in handy. Third, 4th and 5th. They all don't have penalties, so that could be handy for them, but then EXFL Checo gets a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane. EXFL Russell is going to lead this race as we have yellow flags because Gifted Toaster spun in the centre S's. And he almost collects EXFL Senna as he returns to the track. So EXFL Senna is up into P5 in this race now. Definitely the early pit stop helped him. It's just the tyre advantage for Red Fire Tiger is going to be quite significant when the tyres start wearing. Beameister's up onto the podium. He's in P3. 3 seconds off the next car though. And again, it was rain, of course, because we had rain last week in Mexico. It went to inters, then it went to full wet. In the space of about 10-15 laps. Oh, and he gets a bit unstable there. He's definitely struggling. Beameister's Red Fire Tiger is going to go round the outside of Jun Sao on EXFL Senna. Move himself up into P5. He won't mind if he does. Probably won't mind where he finishes anyway, but now because he's champion and the title fight is decided in his favour, as Gifted Toast is also going to go through. Maybe going to go through on Red Fire Tiger as well. Down into turn 1, they do touch. Gifted Toast gets a bit unstable and they touch and he nearly spins, he half spins. Manages to save himself. Nick's for sending to say thank you very much. I will have your position today, mate. But he's now looking at Red Fire Tiger, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move down into turn 4. So quite close in the midfield. Gifted Toast probably is going to learn from that not to go for some audacious dive bombs, because otherwise he probably will half spin himself again. But Gifted Toast is going to dive bomb EXFL Senna into turn 11, and he makes the move stick. And that is a really good move. But EXFL Senna does go wide. I don't know if they touched. I just looked away for 1 minute and saw that it goes wide. But yeah, EXFL Senna now right on the back of this train from 5th to 7th. Red Fire Tiger seems to be pulling away just a little bit. Because Swanee has also got a penalty, so the only people who don't have penalties in this race now are F1 Union and Beameister. They're the only two in this race that do not have penalties. And F1 Union is in P9. He's got Voizo ahead of him, and he's got RPL Zakaria and Niels behind him. So he's going to have to watch out. He's got a bunch of cars behind him, and they're going to be in a fight for P9 in this race. Niels desperately searching for room to try and go through on RPL Zakaria. But however, he's got to be careful if he makes a dive bomb. Otherwise, because if he goes too deep, he'll crash out he'll crash out F1 Union as well. So and he might go for it. Into turn 1 he doesn't, but they do touch. Just a little bit. RPL Zakaria gets another 3-second penalty. But F1 Union seems to be pulling away just a little bit here. He's got Voizo in his sights, you can just see him there. But RPL Zakaria just dropping back a little bit from that Red Bull car. We're still going to watch this because it's the smallest gap out on track, and we want to watch battles. However, No DRS, of course, so it's going to make it a bit harder for him to be passed on the straight. So obviously have to make a mistake in corners, or just be slower through the corners. He wants RPL's carrier not to pass him, but he has some consistent pace. Does F1 Union, so I'm fairly certain he can stay ahead of these guys in front. Through turn 6, he goes a little bit wide, as RPL Zakaria goes a little bit, loses his front end a little bit as well. But anyway, it's still 6/10. F1 Union is really keeping him behind very well. Niels can't overtake Zach either. So all the cars seems to be quite spaced out. EXFL also has a good 9/10 lead to GSRation. And we can sit back and relax now until we see some overtaking being made out on track. But Niels now closing in on the back of RPL's carrier again. It's quite close. No DRS, so he probably won't get past here. He's using overtake. The carrier isn't. He's definitely gaining ground. The pit window's open for another set of intermediates. And stays behind Niels. Now his yellow flags are set to 2 and GXL has spun again. He's going quite slow. So he's definitely. Has he got damage? I think he has damage. He has damage, yeah, he has damage from his spin. Why he's rather limping around the circuit. It's a 1 second lead now for EXFL Russell, so if it dries up, DRS won't be available for GSRation. EXFL Russell just has to keep it intact now, just to keep the car in a good condition as F1 GXL speeds in the pit lane, of course. And there's yellow flags again because he has eventually retired from the session. So out goes F1 GXL, the first retirement of this race in Brazil. His car actually doesn't drive out of the pit lane when he retires, which is always good to see. But GSRation dropping back from our race leader. And by the way, look at this. And Niels thinks about diving down the inside on RPL Zakaria. It doesn't work out for him in the end. EXFL Senna gets a 3-second penalty. Let's have our regular check-up on penalties. Niels does dive down the inside of RPL Zakaria, and the carrier tries to fight him back, and they do touch. However, he does stay ahead, but for how much longer? The carrier fighting back, and round the outside goes Niels. The carrier is going to go back to the inside, and this is really good racing from the Williams and the McLaren. Down through turn 9, and he forces him wide. And he might even be passed by Swanee here, Zakaria. He isn't. But anyway, let's have a look at penalties. So the most penalties still Red Fire Tiger, but then Zakaria and EXFL Sunday both have a large amount of penalties as well. Zakaria now behind Swanee. And they've definitely dropped back from F1 Union quite a lot. It's now 2.6 seconds gap there. F1 Union's pit window is open. Zakaria has pitted, but it's still 1.3 seconds out in front. EXFL Russell on course for his first win in EXFL Season 2. If he takes that, everyone will be happy, definitely. Niels gets a penalty as well, but Swanee apparently looks like Swanee on the back of him. And he's trying to look for space to go through here. We're still on the inter tyre, so that it does look to be getting even more wet out on this track though. Maybe time for wet soon, it depends. So yeah, he's dropped back by quite a lot, but Red Fire Tiger is right on the back of Dragon and Fire. But look at GSRation is gaining very much on EXFL Russell. It's now 7/10, it was 1.4 seconds. It's half that gap in about a lap or two. So this is looking to be a good scrap between these two drivers out in front. I don't know when their pit window is going to open. Doesn't look like anytime soon. There's yellow flags because RPL Zakaria has gone around again. Managed to keep the car going though and is still racing. He's on the full wet tyres out on that track. First person to go onto those tyres. I'd say it's too early at all. And Gifted Toast is going through on Dragon and Fire. And he is up into P4. And Red Fire Tiger might go through on Dragon and Fire yet as well, and he is. Going to try and go round the outside of turn 10. And now down the inside of turn 11. Red Fire Tiger is through on Dragon and Fire, so he loses 2 places there. Gifted Toast dive bomb looked like quite naughty from when I switched over to it, it looked quite naughty. It's dropped under a second again between these two. EXFL Russell and GSRation, it's dropped again. And RPL Zakaria has retired. He retired quite late, so his car's going to be out on the track. Hopefully the stewards won't find too much problem with that. However, he retired quite late because he retired on his pit exit, so that's what it looked like from my point of view anyway. Yep, his car's still going. Don't know why it feels the need to go that far. EXFL gets another 3-second penalty. 8 tenths between the EXFL owner and Voizo. 2 EXFL owners fighting it out on track. So, Raphael Tiger has pit. I think he's going on to full wets as well, actually. He's going on to full wets. Now he's on to a new set of inters. So, Raphael Tiger down now into P10 and maybe P11 if Swanee passes him. Niels with F1 Union, and F1 Union goes wide and stays ahead of Niels. Niels has definitely gained in these last few laps. But I think he's going to stay ahead as EXFL Russell's pitted, and of course he'll have to serve his 5-second penalty. So that's not good for him, and he's going to lose quite a few places here. Russell comes out, stays P3. However, will some of the cars pass him? Voizo will pass him into P3, he goes. Swanee gets a 5-second penalty. He only lost 3 positions from that pit stop, so that's not too bad. He's definitely going to be looking at Voizo, especially because he's on the new tyres. Oh, he nearly spins it! Oh, that's a great save. That's a great save. Makes Russell to keep that car pointing in the right direction. Very, very close for him. He nearly loses the car. Spins it into the wall. On lap 20 of 36 in this race. 16 laps to go. So EXFL Russell's pitted again. I don't know why he's pitted again for. Has he gone on to wets? He is going on to wets. They're all going on to wets, it seems like. And I think EXFL Russell might have lost the win, maybe. And I think EXFL Checo spun it. Yeah, he has, on the start-finish straight. But EXFL Russell might have lost this win. Red Fire Tiger's on inters. And so is Voizo, so he's probably going to be P5. But that is really bad luck for EXFL Russell. His strategy, a Ferrari strategy. And he really has just lost that through no fault of his own whatsoever. And he's going to have to fight back now, won't he? To get that win. There's 11 seconds, look at that, he's past Voizo. It's not Russell, he's 12 seconds off Red Fire Tiger. And it's really bad luck for him. Doesn't deserve it whatsoever. He is a fast driver. He's 11.4 away from Red Fire Tiger, but Red Fire Tiger's on the inters. Now just looking, as far as I can see, seems to be losing a bit of time. And he's still going though. He's lost a few tenths to EXFL Russell. Alright, I might cut out again. 5 tenths separating the leaders. Beameister in the lead for the second week in a row. Can he keep it? He's got the same man rivaling him again in Gifted Toast 2 in the Alfa Romeo. He's going to be looking for a 6th win in EXFL. Beameister looking for a 2nd win in the EXFL. Now here he goes, he's thinking about it, and he is going to try and go round the outside of turn 1, and he's going to switch to the inside, but he's not going to make it through Beameister. He'll have 11 laps to try and get through. Yeah, he's definitely getting closer and closer every lap. And maybe he just needs to not go for a silly dive bomb. Still, is he going to try and go for it down the inside? Switches quite late, but doesn't make it. Still 5/10 for the lead. There is a safety car. There's the EXFL Chaco. He's crashed. I literally just disconnected again. I don't know why. I keep disconnecting, but there is a safety car. The late stage of this race, we have a safety car. EXFL Chaco has crashed. My mic disconnected at the wrong time for the third time. I've realised why it keeps disconnecting. But we do have a late safety car, which always happens in EXFL, a safety car in the late stage of the race. It's probably the trademark thing for EXFL, and GSRation pitted under safety car. He's not going to lose as much time. EXFL Russell's also pitted, and they're going back onto the inters. EXFL Russell really does not deserve to be down in P7. EXFL Russell emerges in P8 behind Niels. He'll have to make overtakes. He'll be close to the field because of the safety car, obviously. So we have a safety car in the last few laps of this race. They line up behind the safety car. If Swanee and F1 Union catch up quickly, it might be in this lap, but I don't think it will be. I think it will be in next lap. Oh, there is a possibility, a very slim possibility it will be in this lap. Boizo's disconnected from the session, so I'm going to try and invite him back. Very quickly. Please be appearing online. He is appearing online. Okay, there's his invite. Anyway, the safety car is not going to be in this lap. It will be in next lap. So it's Gifted Toast leading the race. Red Fire Tiger, GSRation behind, both on the inters. In fact, everyone is on inters except Gifted Toast. He's going to be a sitting duck on this restart. I see a penalty flash up. I want to see what the penalty that just flashed up was. Oh, it was a 5-second penalty for Voizo. Okay. It was a 5-second penalty for Voizo for colliding with EXFL Senna, I'm pretty sure. It might have been, I don't know. Might have been with Niels. It probably was with Niels. I couldn't remember what it said. So they're all lined up behind the safety car. We're going through turn 6. And I do think that the safety car will come in this lap. So the safety car will be in this lap. The Gifted Toast going to back up the field. He's going to be on the slower tyres. He'll be very much slower. Well, off he goes then. He's going to go now. And he's got Red Fire Tiger right on his tail. As we head down the straight for the final 6 laps of the Brazilian Grand Prix, Red Fire Tiger tried to go down the inside, however doesn't. And we've got a Dragonfly getting a penalty behind them. GSRation is being eyed up by Dragon and Fire. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he isn't. Now Voizo P5, Niels P6, EXFL Russell P7. B-Meister P8, EXFL Senna P9, and he's got his teammate right behind him there. And they've all kept position on the restart, except Red Fire Tiger, who's gone ahead, and there's a massive train. As Red Fire Tiger is in the lead of this race, with Niels and EXFL Russell fighting it out. And they fight and Niels. Oh, big crash! And GSRation is spun round. EXFL Russell will have damage. And GSRation is down in plumb last. I don't know how he spun. EXFL Russell stays out. It's P4 now. Dragon and Fire might have damage as well. And there is a big crash at Junsao. And that is a very late dive bomb from Dragon and Fire, but he makes it work. And up into P4 he goes. And this was all played out really well for Red Bull, who are now 6th and 7th as Niels is retired. And this is really good for Red Bull. They've got F1 Union right on the back of EXFL Russell. I think he has damage. I really don't know. I don't know whether he got damage from the incident. He does have damage. He has end plate damage on the right hand side. That's going to allow F1 Union, maybe EXFL Senna, to catch up to him. Now F1 Union down the straight. Is he going to be close enough to go for a move on the Ferrari? He isn't. Just too late. He might think about it though. On the exit, he doesn't go for it. There's a McLaren very far off. That's B-Meister, and he's all the way down in front last now. Oh! Oh! What was that? What was that? What was he doing there? And GSRation now, he's only going to get 1 point from this race, and he probably won't even get it now because he is going to be disqualified. F1 Union trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. on. It's going to be very close to the line. EXFL Russell going wide everywhere. He definitely has damage. We've seen. Is he going to be able to hold on until lap 36? We're on lap 32. Yeah, he's pulling away now, look at that. The gap's just gone to 1.1 seconds. It's dropped a second. And I think EXFL Senna might have a look at overtaking his teammate. And now I've got the engine noise glitch, that's painful to listen to. He's desperately looking for room, he goes onto the grass. Both Red Bulls fighting each other. A big fight for P5 in this race, maybe P4, maybe P3 actually, because Gifted Toast I was thinking about him being involved in this fight, and he is actually fighting with boys, and there's a big train involving 3rd down to 8th in this race. However, I think he'll probably get demoted quite quickly, B-Meister, because of his very, very ridiculous ruling on GSRation. And this is massive. On the fight, this is going to go down right to the final lap of this Brazilian Grand Prix, in which Red Fire Tiger is winning by 5.9 seconds. But the focus on this final lap, it's not even the final lap, it's the penultimate lap, sorry. The focus on this penultimate lap will be this titanic battle, the final podium place. There's no DRS, of course, so they can't use that to their advantage. It's going to be down to just their speed through the corners and their ERS management. And EXFL Russell very close to Gifted Toast. F1 Union is right on the back of EXFL Russell, and they nearly touch through the hairpin, and this is a huge fight for P4. As EXFL Senna and B-Meister are also fighting, and they touch wheels. B-Meister is ahead, but EXFL Senna is going to go around the outside, and he goes wide. And he has to go around the polystyrene. And he stays ahead. And Swanee might get ahead of B-Meister, as now down the straight, EXFL, oh! Big accident! And that is a massive crash. What was happening there? What was Gifted Toast doing? What the hell was that? And that, that's what was Gifted Toast actually thinking there. what was he thinking? What was he thinking he could do through there? Anyway, Red Fire Tiger's off. Oh, Dragon and Fire might win this. And it's going to go right down to the line. Dragon and Fire's going to try and go down the inside. And he is going to do it. They touch, but it's going to be Dragon and Fire. He's reserving. Red Fire Tiger is going to be wheel to wheel across the line. Red Fire Tiger's ahead. But Dragon and Fire will win the Brazilian Grand Prix off of penalties. Boiso P3. But he gets a 5-second penalty. And F1 Union finishes P3 after a chaotic finish to the race. EXFL Senna will finish in P7. What an ending to that race. What a race. What a race that was. That ending. We're going to see a Red Bull on the podium. We're going to see a McLaren on the podium. And we're also going to see an AlphaTauri on the podium. Dragon and Fire reserving today. And he is on the top step of the podium. In that AlphaTauri. So Dragon and Fire wins. Beammeister P2. He didn't pick up any penalties in that race, so that really helped. His podium charge. F1 Union P3. Swanee finishes P4. Great race from him. Red Fire Tiger gets P5 in the end. He'll probably get his penalties removed because he got a 10-second. So he might actually end up finishing in P1. Boiso finishes P6. EXFL Russell P7 after that. Awful driving from Gifted Toast. EXFL Senna was P8. Gifted Toast was P9. Anyway, we will see next week. It will be the season finale next week at Abu Dhabi for the last race of a brilliant second season of EXFL. So from me, RTG Royale, I will see you next week. Goodbye, guys.